Welcome, viewers. Today, we are going to talk about questions around security and using AI in customer success. As AI becomes, a more and more real thing, especially with the release of Chat GPT, which is all the rage on all the social media, especially on Twitter. And there are many questions. People are wondering what are some of the security and privacy and those kinds of issues related to using tools as powerful as AI or as powerful as Sager, or the tools provided by Sager. Today, I'm joined by Vinod, who is not, I mean, who everyone is familiar with, but he's an expert on AI. He's a co-founder at Sager. And today he will be talking us through some of those concerns. So without wasting any more time, welcome back, Vinod. And, we all look forward to, having you answer some of the questions. So,
Sure, Shankar. Yeah, glad to be here again. Yeah, let's get started.
so I believe you have a presentation that you would like to share with us.
Yes, Shankar. So as we were talking, for our customers, we have put together some of the best practices we have been following on customer data security and privacy. So we will review some of them, and so I hope like this will answer some of your questions. You might have. If you are keen to use any of the customer success and customer intelligence related tools and using AI capabilities within your customer success org. So let's get started. So these are some of the data security practices. So we follow, and any customer data processing company should follow also. So some of the industry best practices in order to safeguard the customer's data, right? So keeping all of the data secure and data residency, like we keep all of our data in our AWS, in the AWS public cloud, and hosted only in United States. But if a customer specifically is based out of European region, like we have that capability also to host in their specific region or country of choice. And encryption, this is like very important. Like there is so much of personal data is there, and how do we encrypt, like even when we store the data in our systems or while the data is transiting, right, on the internet. So keeping that in transit and at rest fully encrypted is like very important, and keeping it 100% private, like it's one customer's data is like not mixed with other companies' data. That is important because you don't want it is like commingled and create problems when we do the process. And having it protected, right? Like, so how do you safeguard it for any threats from outside? Keeping all of the security logs in place even for your employees. So that is a practice which we follow, like centralized audit logs and key management services to access any data. And some of the industry best practices, like any enterprise follow single sign-on and multi-factor authentications and fully tokenized on sensitive data. Like, let's say if there is some sensitive data which we feel is uh, not processed in any of our machine learning workflows, like we encode it before and we anonymize it before passing it to any of the data processing activities, right? So these are some of the high level practices which we follow. Apart from that, we are also in the process of doing SOC 2 type 2 certification, which is the industry standard when it comes to software companies to safeguard any customer data.
Okay. So for access, should customers allow their CSMs access to some of these systems?
Yeah, I mean, they should, because like they are the people, like who have who will provide the data to us. So they should definitely have access, like if they need, if there is a need. So apart from that, I mean, even if there is like some sensitivity involved in there also, like they can put some controls in place. Okay, what kind of data should be shared by let's say customer success manager or not also.
Yeah, no. I mean, maybe you will touch upon this later because there's in some businesses there is also customer success operations role versus customer success manager role,
Mhm.
and if there should be some healthy, wall separation of responsibilities and access levels between the two departments, or CSMs can have the same access as CS ops people or things of that nature.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, so if there is a specific team for CS ops, I think they should have more access than CS manager. But yeah, it depends on the team and their controls within the organization, right? Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
So next is like, I mean, so this is like one of the uh, one of the key important topic, like, so how do as we know in this in this decade, definitely, like as AI and machine learning capabilities are going to go mainstream. So so the data and like how the data is getting used is like very important, right? So from the customer side, let's say like if a customer agrees with us to do business and use our services, so like how do we take the data from their systems to our systems, and how does all of the processing work, and at the end, like how do we deliver results to them, right? All of these has to get understood by the the end user or whoever the business stakeholders from the customer side. So that's why having this overview of diagram is like very important. So this is how it works. So let's say we are connecting to your CRM. So this can be for any other system also. It can be your support ticketing tool, or so your NPS or CSAT survey related tool. But it is the same flow. Like at the end, we the architecture is the same. Here, just an example. Let's say we are connecting to your CRM. So on top from that CRM, so we use an ELT service to replicate all of the required data from your Salesforce to our data warehouse, right? That happens through internet, and that's why like we use the most advanced encryption algorithm here, TLS 1.2 plus. So so in transit, this is the most safeguarded mechanism to protect your data. So once it comes and lands into your our data warehouse, it's all fully private. Like not just the public cloud. Within the public cloud, like we'll have a specific private network, so that even any other insider threats can also be remediated with this practice. So from within that virtual cloud, so this virtual cloud is like different for each and every customer, so that one customer data is like not getting replicated with not getting commingled with another customer data. So each customer have their own virtual private cloud, right? So from there, we have our backend. We do all of the processing, all of the machine learning processing and data processing, and we have a user interface that is accessed by users. So that's where our customer intelligence dashboard and all of the workflow will come in, and the user will have access through multi-factor authentication to log into it. And when it comes to we delivering the insights directly into your CRM, so again it happens through internet. So that's why we use TLS 1.2 and above encryption algorithm here. So it's all from end to end. It's all it's all fully protected with the best security measures. And inside all of this, like how we process the data, like we'll come into more details here.
Okay. So data at rest, is that also encrypted?
Yes, data at rest is also encrypted. We use AES 256 encryption algorithm at rest. We are going to come to that. So this is like, so far, like this is just the transition of data and data in transit. So that's why this is we use like TLS 1.2 plus here.
Okay.
Okay. Then to answer to your question, Shankar here. So this is how we encrypt the data in more detail here. So data at rest, like as I told, like we use to 256 bits advanced encryption standard. Like this is the like all of the cloud providers, like everybody who are leading who are leading their industry or their segment, like follow these particular standards. Like we do follow the same. For at rest data, like we use 256 encryption, 256 AES encryption, and on top of that, like so these encryption keys are also will be constantly rotated in order to keep a higher level of security, even from within our company. For employees access also, we use a specific key management service to constantly rotate these keys, so that even if in worst case, if the keys get shared to somebody else, like it's going to get remediated. Okay. And for in transit, as we discussed, like we use TLS 1.2 plus for data in motion. And as we are fully hosted on AWS cloud, on the data center side, our cloud provider use so one of the best FIPS 140-2 validation encryption methodology on the server side, right? So AWS use this for all of their data centers to protect any customer data, right? So apart from that, all the API calls, right? Like so within our entire backend, like there are multiple APIs which we use. All of the in transit and at rest on top of API calls also will follow this data at rest and in transit practices. And for API calls, we also have advanced authentication and authorization challenges inbuilt. Okay.
Okay.
Any questions on this, Shankar?
No. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, I think you addressed my question about data at rest.
Okay. Then let's go to like one slide back here. So this is the data classification matrix. So what this explains is, let's say we are taking different types of data from you or like from our customers. So they want to know, let's say, so there are like different types of data, right? Like when you sync with the CRM, in CRM there is like some important data. Important data means, I mean, it could be phone numbers also, it could be some other personal communications also. So how is that is being handled, right? What is the sensitivity, what is the access, like what kind of employees of Sager AI have the access, and how do they even encrypt it, right? So that's what this fully explains. Let's say like we connect to your CRM data, what is the sensitivity level, like the confidential, like nobody should not know who is not authorized to know or have access to, right? So that's what only Sager designated employees only who work on that specific component of data processing. As we use third-party sync service to use to sync your CRM data to our systems. So there also, like we follow all of their industry practices. Like so we use Fivetron for that, and Fivetron has like, I think, like dozens of certifications, whatever we have already discussed. So we follow their certifications also, so that like we are also compliant with them, and for you also. Okay.
Okay.
So similarly, for sales and purchase data, let's say, what is the billing information? So we need that to process, to compute insights and health scores. How is that, like only designated employees, and it will be encrypted at rest and in transit. Similarly, NPS CSAT data, customer interactions, like all of the emails related data, sensitive, and the ML predictions. So on top of all of this data, like we do predict some insights, and we do some annotations on your existing data, like how is that only designated employees and encrypted in the same way. And the product usage data, like how our users are using our product. So that is like encrypted at in transit and only designated employees, right? So this is how let's say if you are actually if you are ready to um, use our services or our solution. So we typically need these kinds of data. So from you, like we need typically these types of data, and this is how we this gets encrypted, and this is how your data will be accessed within. Move to next slide. The enterprise readiness of any product, right? So we have so we are working with enterprise companies. So we so to in order to fulfill their security practices and guidelines. So these are the enterprise capabilities which we are providing to our existing customers right now. So those are single sign-on, like fully standardized and centralized login infrastructure, so that like they don't need to have multiple user IDs and logins and forget password that pains, right? So we have that capability and the scalability and uptime, right? Like this is also very important. Like when you are serving for enterprise customers, if the service is down with hundreds and thousands of end users, even if you have like little amount of downtime, it is going to cause business impact and revenue impacts for the company. So having high availability and uptime is like very important. So we follow 99.5% and above uptime to keep our servers alive and have our applications being available for our customers. Even our cloud service provider, so they guarantee that like 99.99% availability time, and on top of that we build, so we give this guarantee for our end users. Okay.
So if someone, Vinod, is using Google ID, can they use that for single sign-on?
Yes, yeah. So we support Microsoft Active Directory, Google Access IDs, like Google Directory also, and even Okta single sign-on. Like yeah, so we integrate with all of the single sign-on capabilities.
Okay.
And access controls, right? So typically, in an enterprise company, there will be hundreds of employees, and let's say like 10-20 employees will keep on coming and going in a year or quarter. So admins have the capabilities to add new users and remove old users as they come and go. So that kind of functionality will also be provided for the admins of any particular product, and fully audited, right? As we talked about it before. So we are doing some industry standard certifications like SOC 2. So it is the most vetted security and data privacy framework for software companies in the United States and even across the globe. So being audited on an annual basis on that, and guidelines like GDPR and CCPA are also being followed, is like very important. That's what we follow here, and we do frequent audit trails to being compliant for these frameworks. Okay. And these are some of the the IT security and privacy related standards and certifications which we comply with, as we were talking about before. So we do comply with most of the industries frameworks, and be upfront and updated with all of the existing frameworks. So this explains like most of the things. So we do comply with GDPR data protection requirements and offer if a customer wants to see like how their data is actually getting processed, so we have a DPA in place, and follow the guidelines accordingly there. And we also ensure the policies and processes that comply with CCPA for Californian companies and residents there. Um, yeah, if a user requests some specific report, we give the report within 30 days. For GDPR and for CCPA, there is like 45 days limit, 45 days guideline. So so far we haven't received any of those such, but if and when, like, we do provide them as soon as possible with the processes in place. Okay. And when it comes to availability, as I was availability, confidentiality, and security, we are getting certified with SOC 2 Type 2. With with a it's a SOC 2 Type 2 is like basically a 3 months continuous period of like all the security principles in and out. So like then after that, an accreditor auditor will actually check for these 3 months and give you the certification that you are compliant. So we are in the process of doing it. Apart from that, our cloud service provider has all of the security compliance certifications which can be found here, SOC 2 and even ISO related certifications, right? So this is like very important for our customers, because so we are fully AWS native. Like, we build all of our services and all of our workloads on top of, say, AWS, and that means like we also follow all of these services for our infrastructure. Okay, when it comes to our applications, so this is the complaints we have in the process. Okay.
Okay.
And so far, any questions, Shankar?
No, I mean, these look good. I mean, is there any certifications that you see that might become important in the next 3 to 6 months?
Yeah. So SOC 2 Type 1 and Type 2 are there. So they are very important for any software company. That is the industry standard. Like, that is the first certification any software company will get for their customers. So we are directly doing SOC 2 Type 2, which is like more stringent in terms of requirement. As I told, like, SOC 2 Type 1 is just a preliminary. Then we are directly doing the Type 2 one. Then once we are through with it, like, we would also do ISO certifications as we go along. ISO 27001 certification. So that's what those are the two things like which we have in place. Apart from that, general data protection, CCPA and GDPR, like, already there. So we follow all of the practices there. Shankar.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And when it comes to personal data, so having any data, so we process different types of data, but when it comes to GDPR and CCPA, personal data is like very important. How we process the personal data is the utmost importance for this, the data protection laws from Europe and California, right? So we don't. So okay, this is how we process, like, what kind of data we take, personal data we take from our users, right? Which personal data do we need, to provide our services? So from our customers, typically we need their name, their business email ID, their customer number or CRM ID. That's all we need when it comes to customer data. There is like no need of any payment related information. There is like no need of credit information. There is like no need of phone numbers and stuff like that. This is what we need. So in most of the scenarios, so why we are that easily compliant means, like, we don't take any personal data as such, right? Apart from these, and when it comes to employees of our customers, we just need full name and business email ID. nothing more than that, right? So in a gist, right, like we don't need any personal data apart from this, in terms of providing our customer success and customer experience intelligence to our customers. Okay. So and how do we process the data? What are the details? Let's say, like, we take all of this data. So why do we need it, and how do we process the data is like one question, right? So we need it, to do it in multiple data processing techniques. How we do is, like, let's say, okay, I wanted to see for all of the customers, what are the recent, like, interaction points for that particular customer and for that particular customer name. So in order to fetch and query all of that, we need some specific unique identifier, right? So all of these are like basically used as unique identifiers, in order to aggregate, and doing some kind of retrieval and data entry, into our ML systems, right? So once we take the data, this is how we do it. So we hold the data in our internal storage for some organization of the data to provide the insights directly back into your CRM. Let's say, like, if you're writing some data points to your CRM, so we need some ID, right, to write to. So that's where the CRM ID comes in. That's where a business email ID actually comes in, right?
Yeah. So Vinod, would it be right to say that basically these IDs that you have on the screen are basically the primary keys, foreign keys to associate data so that
Yes.
machine learning platform can produce, the nice looking charts and graphs and tables that you see on the platform.
Exactly. So, like, if you don't have any of these, like, we don't know what data is like related to what, right? So we use them as an unique identifier, as you told, the primary keys and foreign keys, in specific data types,
Okay,
right?
sounds good. Yeah.
So yeah, then after that, and we also have, this thing. So when it comes to our data retention policy, just because we are in machine learning and AI space, uh, so we store the data. We store the data which we take from our customers, in our systems. So the catch here is, so the machine learning systems are good, with huge amounts of data. So that's why, like, we need more data. So we don't delete data, until our customer, tell us to do. So that's why, if we have a full process in place, on, like, how do we retain the data. If a customer, like, don't want their data to be with us, like, we delete, immediately, within 15 days of informing, when it comes to data retention. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, sounds good.
So I think we are through with that security and data privacy guidelines we follow at Sager AI, Shankar.
Yeah, no, thanks, for that. I mean, I think this is great. I mean, I think you touched upon all the, what they call the frequently asked questions, FAQs, that I've heard from prospects and customers, and not just for in the context of Sager, but even otherwise, because as you said, most or a lot of these things are relevant to any platform that's hosted, and which is everything these days. So I think this is wonderful information. And we know the best way if anyone has follow-ups is either to contact you on LinkedIn. Is there any other way that they can ask follow-up questions?
Yeah, sure. I mean, they can directly reach me out on LinkedIn. So apart from that, my email ID is vinod.verma@sager.ai, vinod.varme.
No, sounds good. Thank you again, Vinod, for your time. And and anyone who wants to get notifications of our next video, please subscribe. And we look forward to talking to Vinod again soon.
Thank you very much, Shankar, for having me.
Okay, bye.